guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I'm doing my winter sowing this year. I've got all my jugs and a knife, but I wanted to tell you something real quick before I head out to the greenhouse. If you did not know, the big box stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, and places like that have already started getting their roses. So if you want the good ones or you want the ones that are a little bit cheaper, they have ones all the way from $9.99 to $16.99 or $19.99. I got the climbing rose that we already have. I wanted one to match. I'll put a picture up of the one that we currently have and what that looks like when it's in bloom. And then I got this one to plant in the front of the greenhouse. So let's head out and I'm going to show you how we're going to winter sow some of our seeds this year. Okay, so these are the seeds that I'm going to be doing this year. I've only got 5 jugs as of right now, so these are the ones I'm going to do. And I'll leave a little space right here so I can put a list of other great seeds that are good to start during winter sowing, things that are perennials, herbs, also things that come back every year like your mints, your lemon balm, stuff like that. Another good one is lavender, anything that needs cold stratification. For winter sowing, you can use potting soil, or I'm going to be using my seed starting mix with a little bit of fertilizer mixed in, which is why we're going to be doing it out in the greenhouse. So I'm going to fill up a big bucket of my seed starting mix and add fertilizer to it once we get out to the greenhouse. All right, I got my 5-gallon bucket with my seed starting soil. I got just enough that I think I'm gonna need to fill my 5 jugs. And this is the fertilizer that I'm gonna mix in. I'll show you guys how I do that and everything, but it's very simple. This video is gonna be short and sweet. You need your soil, your potting mix, whatever you're planning on using, your seeds, a knife to cut your jugs, and some tape to close your jugs up. And that is it. And I'm just gonna start by showing you guys how you're gonna cut these. So you want to keep your handle on your jug. That way when you tape it, you can still carry them from the handle. So you're gonna cut from about 1 inch away from the handle all the way back around. Let me show you. The straighter you keep your line, the better, because it'll be easier to tape shut. All right, so I finished cutting it. And like I said, the handle is still attached. You can now open it up. Okay, next thing you want to do is you want to poke some holes at the bottom for drainage. If you're using a razor knife, just make sure that you twist the knife a little, because sometimes with the flat cuts that you make, it might not drain well. And I try and put my drainage holes a little on the edge but still on the bottom. That way if I set them on anything like a brick, they will still drain properly. All right, that's 1 down. I've already cut it and put in my drain holes. I'm just gonna do the other 4 real quick and I will be right back. All right, I've got all my jugs cut and ready. They all have proper drainage. I'm just gonna move them out of the way. Like I said, I am starting with my seed starting soil, and the only thing in here that is kind of beneficial or gives nutrients is worm castings. Because these items in the jug are going to be here a while, I am going to add in some fertilizer. This is the one that I'll be using. And I use probably 1 cup for this entire bucket because it is granulated fertilizer. So as it gets moisture, it will release the nutrients. And I'm just gonna mix this up real quick and then start putting it in my jugs. If you haven't seen the video where I share my seed starting mix, I will link it up here in the top and you can just click that little button and it'll take you right to the video. And then based on the seeds I'm planting, I will add things like fertilizer or sprinkle vermiculite over the top. Now I'm just gonna add this to my jugs. I'm not gonna fill it right to the line. Probably do 3 scoops. And then I don't know if you watch that woman on here. She does indoor house plants and stuff. I love her channel, but I'm just gonna shimmy the soil just so it's all settled. And I'm gonna finish filling the rest. All right, I've got all my jugs cut with proper drainage and they're all filled, so I am ready to start planting. I am gonna start with these alpine strawberries, and let me show you how I plant them into the jugs. All right, so I do want to preface by saying that I keep saying that our jugs are going to be outside for a while and that the seedlings will be in these jugs for a while. However, we are in North Carolina, we're in the mountains, so we do get snow, it does get really cold. Like I said, we're gonna have single-degree temperatures, but our growing season is a lot longer than what I'm used to. I'm used to being in Maine. I'm used to a short growing season. If you're doing this somewhere like Maine, you may want to put a few less seeds because they're going to get overcrowded and they're going to bunch up and they're going to make a mess. I am going to plant probably most of this seed packet into this jug because come early March, I'm going to be able to open this and separate all the seedlings and plant them out. Okay, so I planted about 1/3 of the seeds from this strawberry seed packet into this one jug. And that's how I'm gonna plant the rest of the jugs. Again, I will share with you about how many from each packet that I sow. I might dump the amount of seeds that I sow per jug into my hand for the next packet just to give you guys an idea. But before I move this off to the side, I am going to label it with a label on the inside, because if you don't label on the inside, it being outside, the weather will wear it, and anything you write on the jug could be gone by the time you get to it. Now I'm just gonna take my jug with the strawberry seeds and take just a little handful of my seed starting soil and sprinkle it right over the top. This one's ready to go and be closed up, so I will be taping this one as soon as I finish the other jugs. Next, I am going to do German chamomile. And these seed packets from this company open from the bottom unless you cut them at the top. So okay, yeah, I think that's probably about half of this packet. So the seeds are super tiny, but that's about how many I'm gonna put in this entire jug. And I'm just gonna sprinkle them all over. And just like the other one, I'm gonna take a handful of my soil, cover those seeds ever so lightly, and put a tag in here. All right, now that I've shown you guys the gist of how I'm going to be planting these jugs, I'm just going to run through and do my lemon mint, my catnip, and my lemon balm. I do have peppermint, and if I had an extra jug, I would be doing peppermint right now. One of my favorite things is lavender. That's the only way I can get lavender to germinate. I tried putting it in the fridge. Lavender needs cold stratification, which just means that your seeds need 2 weeks to 2 months worth of cold temperatures in order to germinate. All right, I just finished up my last seed packet in my last jug, and now I'm going to tape them up. I'm using duct tape. This is just what I have. You can use a clear tape. Honestly, any way you can keep them shut is good. As long as when you're holding them by the handle, they don't open up and spill out, because then you'll have a mess. I'm just gonna start at the handle and work my way back around. Like I said, the closer or the straighter your line is, the easier it is to do. And I'm just gonna go around twice to make sure I got it good. Perfect. Just like that. And like I said, I labeled the inside, but you can label the outside if you want. The only thing about labeling the outside, like I said, is with it being outside, the weather could deteriorate whatever you write on it with. We've used Sharpie before and it still happens. So I do leave a tag on the inside with a label, and I just leave it there. That way when I open it up, it's kind of like a surprise. All right, all my jugs are ready. They can all be lifted by the handles and they don't pop open. Again, these could go outside right now. However, we are about to get a cold front through here and it's gonna be in the single digits, which we don't normally see. So I'm gonna leave them in the greenhouse until next week and then I'll move them outside. Another thing I wanna cover is moisture. So if you live somewhere where it's super dry, you may have to water these. If you get snow, the snow melts and that waters them, things like that. But if you live somewhere where you don't see a lot of moisture, you can just bring a hose out and you can put some water in through the top. It doesn't have to be super careful. Your seeds will still germinate. Thank you guys for being here, and I'm glad we're finally out in the greenhouse, even if it was just for a short while, and I'll see you next video.